Alright, a little bit of Dynamite. Sorry about Tuesday. Sorry, as you can hear, I'm very congested, and it's hard to do anything when you can't breathe. I've taken my medicine and everything, but unfortunately, when you get congestion, in my case, it goes into the stomach, which makes you very upset in the stomach. You don't feel so good. I'm fine. It just happens every year around this time. I get it. But let's see what we got here with Dynamite. And you see the title. Not bad booking. I'm going to say this. Normally the way Dynamite works, you don't really get anything in the beginning. You don't get any promo segments. You don't get any in-ring segments very well all the time. You don't spotlight everybody on Dynamite. Here they did. They spotlighted the Babes of Wrath. Yes. They spotlighted when it came to Brody King, when it came to MJF. They spotlighted a little bit of Tommaso Ciampa later in the night. You got a video of him. Now, I got my thoughts on him. But at least we did get several promos beforehand. Some recorded promos, which was fine. We don't always get it. And being in Las Vegas, you would expect them to do something at least a little bit more than what they normally do, which they have. Now, the first match, which I told somebody, and it looks like I was exonerated, not saying that he doubted me. I want to make this clear. The person you said this about tag teams and that, look, they're actually focusing on tag teams. I said if they can do it more than a month with just tag teams only, no trios, no 8-man tag, no 10-man tag, then I would believe it. I was right. What did we get? We get a trios match, which we should leave the trios alone for a little while, but no. We get a trios match where the Don Callis family, when we got Clone, we got Josh, and we got Kateska versus pretty much the Death Riders. And this is more about trying to get Kateska having a match with a little bit of Jon Moxley, which, when the match was over, the Don Callis family won, not Moxley, which was fine. But let me give it to you like this. The match for the Continental Championship was already made within a few minutes after it was done. Tony, this is one of the things I don't like about Tony. Instead of waiting about an hour before making any general announcements of any matches, it's within a few minutes. And I find that takes away the spontaneity of the show. Because you're doing it on the spot. That's not being spontaneous. That's just being predictable. Because if you do it once in a while, fine. But you do it every night. So that takes away the spontaneity. If it was done later in the night or near the end of the show, that would feel more spontaneous, more organic. Here it doesn't. But I wasn't surprised they did that. But I'm going to be honest here. I still don't care about the Death Riders. Mainly due to the fact that Death Riders don't feel important because they've already done their run. And worse, what are they? Are they bad guys? Are they good guys? They're not good guys. They're still bad guys, and people think they're good. And it makes no sense. They should have broken up a long time ago. They should have gotten rid of Moxley, and they haven't. So it still feels exactly the same. Now, with I'll give you like this. I will be interested in seeing the match at Grand Slam Australia. Fine. But I don't care about the Don Callis family, and I don't care about the Death Riders. Now, moving on. Next match. Mixed tag. Now, this was set up on Collision with no build. Sorry. No build. You're going to say, well, that was set up last week. Shouldn't it take a couple of weeks to give you a reason why this is going on? And you're going to say, well, we had this for months. Look what's been going on with what happened with Mia Shirakawa. Look what happened with Tony Storm. Look what's going on with Marina Shafir. That's the reason. Have you seen the situation on Dynamite? Or have you seen it on Collision? I'll give you some time to think about it. Now it's not working. No. What we've seen are matches with very little build when it comes to Marina Shafir. And you can say Marina's been used a whole bunch of times. Marina Shafir has been nothing until the tag titles became relevant. And within that time, she doesn't have a tag partner other than Megan Bain, which is now gone back to penalty force because she's now cleared. But what does that mean for her? Has the Death Riders really made her the focus? No. She's been somewhat of a focus, but when you talk about Toni Storm, Tony's here, Marina Shafir is here. They only made her important because of the tag title tournament. Since then, that's it. And now because she's working with Marina, Tony's now gone down. Not because you're trying to make Marina here and Tony sees she's going to bring it up. No. You got Marina who came up a little bit, but because Tony's working with Marina, she's brought down. So really, this really hasn't felt important. And then you talk about Orange Cassidy, where now they're doing the same old story with him and Wheeler Yuta. And this last week being, from what I understand, because they mentioned this, because I don't watch Collision, because there's no one watching my Collision videos, and I wasn't interested in Collision because they had worse matches than it had here. They had almost no promos at all, and it really didn't mean anything. They just threw matches out. Not all the time did they mean anything. So I've had no interest to go back to Collision, but let's make this very clear. Now, supposedly, we're going to get a mixed tag match. Look what we got here. We got a mixed tag between, who were the two? Oasis and Brooks. And while this is going on, they were messing with Oasis's head, and Brooks was being grabbed by her hair. And in the end, when the match was over, and of course, you know who won. It was due to the fact of Orange Cassidy pinning Oasis, or Isis, or Oasis, or Oasis or Isis. I can't remember what his name is. This is about a match where who loses, who gets pinned in this mixed tag, loses their hair, loses something like this, my old rug on my head. And I'm like, let me get this straight. You're giving this mixed tag match to Toni Storm and Orange Cassidy, two of the more prominent people that you care about. And you don't give it any time to build. You just make the announcement on Collision, for what I understand, last week, because I did not see it on Dynamite last week. You do it here, do it there on that Collision. And it's about getting one of their heads shaven. And instead of giving this 2 weeks or 3 weeks of a build, making it important to them that their hair is going to be taken off their head, you only get one in-ring segment saying that, I don't know why we did this, I don't want to do it. But then when it looks like she's down and she can't handle it, she jumps back up. Instead of building it, it feels rushed. It feels rushed. Now, even though it is rushed, and I want to make this clear, I am being honest here. Even though it is rushed, we have not, from what I understand, if I remember correctly, we have not seen a match where someone's losing their hair. At least not yet. So this might be the first one, unless it happened on a Collision, or it happened on maybe Elevation when it was still on, or Rampage when it was still on. I have not heard anyone do a match where they would lose their hair if they do it. So this could be, I could be wrong, but this could be the first match on AEW where a match is for someone's hair. So I will give it that, but it doesn't take away that this should have been built over 2 or 3 weeks easily, not within a week, and not having a segment in the ring. Remember, guys, it doesn't make a difference how you feel. It makes no difference if you love Collision or Dynamite. It's about who watches the show and who's going to be invested in the shows. People watch Dynamite more than Collision. Dynamite's at least 500,000 people at this point, between 500 to near maybe 600,000. And how much does Collision? Well, yeah, Dynamite's got 500,000 to 600,000 sometimes, maybe near 650. What does Collision have? 200 or 300? If you're lucky, Usually it's like 100,000 in some cases. I've seen it at 100,000 at a few times. Others is 200,000, maybe near 3. So they have very few people compared to Dynamite. So if you don't watch Collision, you're not going to know what the hell's going on here. It's just a match that just threw out there. And yes, it's an interesting match. Looks like the first one for the company. If it is. But still no build. Moving on. Hangman Page versus... Let me give it to you like this. You give Mark Davis this match before they go to Australia. And I'm like, okay, are we going to do something with Kyle Fletcher when he comes back? Will he have a match on that show? As far as I know, he doesn't. So the only Aussie that's going to have a match at Grand Slam will be Tony Storm. You couldn't just give him a match doing something. It doesn't make a difference if he's going to win over in Grand Slam or not. At least give him a match. I think that would have been a good thing, but no. You do this here with Hangman Page. Now, understandable. They want to show that Hangman can take on someone tough in the Don Callis family, of course. And he's a good wrestler. And the key here is that this is supposed to be one of the 2 matches on the show that's supposed to show who's going to become the number 1 contender at Grand Slam. Now, I understand it. I'm not against him. But 1, wouldn't it have been better to get someone else to get that spot? 2, wouldn't it have been nice to give a Mark Davis a match at Grand Slam? You can't tell me they're not going to have space. It's on a Saturday. This isn't a regular Dynamite or regular Collision. It's Grand Slam on a Saturday. And it looks like it's going to be special. Look, I feel kind of sorry for Mark Davis. He deserved better than this. But this is just me. You guys send me a blow. Of course, he lost. And let me give it to you like this. Did I like the promo after the match from Page? It was alright. He talked about Kenny, hoping it's him that he's going to go up against. And MJF, he's coming for him. Next match. Kenny Omega versus Andrade. Now, I'm not going to lie here. I thought Andrade was going to lose this. I really didn't believe they were going to go there with him. I did not know that they actually are invested in Andrade. And that's a good thing. I truly believed that it was going to be Kenny who was going to win the match. And if he didn't win, it'd be some type of screwy ending that gave him that win. And pretty much, there was a screwy ending. But it was Andrade who won. And I'm like, okay. They didn't want Hangman Page to go up against Kenny Omega. Kenny was willing to do the job. No problem. That's, excuse me, congestion. That's good. And the thing that made me at least feel good after the match, because they have to do something with Kenny. And since Swerve got the same treatment as Kenny, and he came out due to the fact that Andrade was thrown a screwdriver by Don into the ring, and he managed to grab it from him, which distracted Kenny, which made Kenny lose. These two are now angry at each other, instead of being angry at Andrade, but they're both frustrated, they're angry, and now they're being pitted against each other. Now, mind you, I'm not 100% happy that this is going on, but I'll give you like this. You got to do something with Kenny. You got to do something with Swerve. And they have been given at least this storyline where at this moment, due to the fact that the Don Callis family is screwing them both, they want to fight one another because they can't do anything. They're not in the title pictures right now. And they want to get someone around their hands and squeeze their necks. So this is at least something to give them both. And at least it isn't going to be someone that has not had any build. And that's the major thing. You got Kenny, who's got a lot of star power, who's had a good amount of build. You got Swerve, who has star power, who's got a lot of build. At least you're putting two people together that has star power that can keep them from looking boring. Because you're going to put them up against guys that you know they're going to job out. And I'm not saying I want to see Kenny job to Swerve or Swerve job to Kenny. But at least it will give us something. They don't need to do matches all the time. They can just fight one another. Eventually realizing this is not about either one of them. It's about the Don Callis family. And they just go after Don Callis. I'm not telling you that's the greatest thing, but at least it is some type of story that has something. Where you don't have to just throw random matches at them because literally they got nothing to do. Next, the Babes of Wrath versus the Mega Group. Wait, what's they called? Mega Bad. Supposedly Mega Bad. I think that's what they're being called. Mega Bad. Megan Bayne and Penelope Forbes. And this is an eliminator match. Now, I knew that they have almost no tag teams. And this is what nobody wants to hear. The division has no tag teams. You have a huge amount of women, but no tag teams. They don't. What do they have? The Sisters of Sin, now the Mega Babes, and then the Babes of Wrath. That's it. Now you're going to say, what about Toni Storm and Mia Shikawa? She's working with Orange Cassidy, so that's not something. Mia Shikawa is out. So if you're not going to have the Renegade Twins there, because we have not seen Robin's sister in many months. It's only Robin Renegade, and I think she's still on ROH. What other tag teams do you have? You have 3. That's it. So I knew that if they want to do a match at Grand Slam, it had to be Harley Cameron who gets the pin. She had to eat it. And that's the one who ate it. And I'm going to be honest here. As much as I said, well, they got some story here. They've done a couple of things. There is no story here. There's nothing. There's nothing for the Babes of Wrath, and there's nothing for the Mega Bad. Or Mega Bads. I don't know what they're calling themselves. I think they're called the Mega Bads. There's nothing there. There is no story. They just wanted to get the match and make it look like there's a story by letting them win in this eliminator match. Which they do eliminator matches all the time. And this is one of the rare ones they let actually, well, can't say that because of what happened at the end of the show. But this is one of the few ones they did. There you go. Moving on. Jungle Boy Jack Perry versus Ricochet for the National Championship. I'm going to be honest here. I did not expect this to end anything other than Ricochet winning. And I was right. What did we get? The Gates of Agony coming out to help him? And in the end, he did win. But let's make this very clear. I don't see a future for not Jack Perry, but for Ricochet. As it stands, they made a title just for him to hold, which feels irrelevant. Look, guys. We'll already have the Continental Championship that's going to be going after. We have the International Championship. We don't know when that's going to be actually gone for. Now we have the National Championship. 3 low-tier titles just below the TNT title that Ciampa just won. Ciampa. Which one is the top one? Continental, International, and National. Right there. This is what you got. And the problem here that many people are saying, what are you complaining about? Not to me, but what are you complaining about? We got a whole bunch of titles. People are always defending them. It doesn't feel important. One of the reasons why wrestling, particularly when the WWE was the WWE and WWF was the WWF, is that they made them feel important even if they did not have really strong characters to carry them. And the problem here with AEW is that they have a whole bunch of titles. They have not built any people properly or at all. And the ones they do build properly, they're in positions that they can't defend those titles or do anything. Again, I'm going to say this. Look at Eddie Kingston is one of those fan favorites that people still love. And they refuse to do anything with him. They could have made him, when he was still capable, before he got injured and went away, the head of Collision. They refused to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't make it his show. They should have, but they didn't. And now, the way Collision is, it's got low ratings, and there is no one running that show. There's no real important person there. You could say, well, at one point Jade Cargill was the one who was running it. Jade was not ready for that. And you could tell from the way she's working in WWE that they're not even giving her anything. She's only defended the title, what? Once, I think? Oh, no, she hasn't defended her title once yet. Once. And she's barely been on TV, maybe once or twice. No promos, nothing. She just goes out there and holds it out. And she went up against Jordan Grace. Bad booking. And Jade Cargill is someone that we all loved, at least enough to see that she did have potential, but as she is now, she looks complacent. She really hasn't improved herself. But I'm moving on. Jack Perry, I don't know where they're going to go with him, even though he is working with the Bucks. The Bucks are going up against the Gates of Agony because of what happened after the match. So Ricochet can win. This is what we get. Final match. And there was only maybe about 8 or 9 minutes left for this show. For this showing of the last match of the Eliminator for the World Championship #1 contendership. In other words, if Brody King won, he becomes #1 contender and gets his, well, not one, he gets his shot to get that title. I'm not going to lie, I didn't expect them to go there. But due to the fact that Hangman Page coming out, distracting him, we get Brody King winning that match. And now he's going to get his one shot at that title. They're going to let him go to They're going to let him go to Grand Slam and go up against MJF for that title. And yes, Andrade came out to try and nail him. He did, but then it didn't work. And Heyman managed to nail MJF. He also had to go after Andrade, but the one who looked the most well was Brody King. Let me give it to you like this. Is this good booking? Most of the show, yeah, it was good booking. As I said, not bad booking. It was pretty good. Seeing Brody King here, I didn't expect it. I'm not going to lie, I didn't expect it. But at least we did get it. And seeing that the War Dogs are messing with, I don't know who the War Dogs are. I know I recognize Gabe Kidd. I don't recognize the other guy. But the key here is not recognizing them. They are at least doing something with them with I don't know if this is going to be good when it comes to I don't know why I'm so reluctant to say anything about Darby Allin. I just don't know. But this is just me, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a comment below. I will hopefully be able to do my Impact review tomorrow. But as you hear, I am congested as hell because I got sick a little bit. And it's hard to do my videos when I'm this congested. Hopefully I will. Peace.